They called her a menace, a thief, just another failed case in a broken system. But as 13-year-old Savannah Rose stood in courtroom 4B, the nation watched, not with pity, but with curiosity. A disheveled girl in a hoodie too big for her frame, hands cuffed, eyes darting like she was still on the streets. Outside, news vans lined the courthouse. Inside, the air was thick with judgment. A reporter whispered, "This is the girl who pickpocketed a senator's aide." Another chimed in, "They say she hit 6 stores in 2 weeks." But no one mentioned the bruises hidden under her sleeves, or the fact she hadn't been enrolled in school for over a year. As the bailiff announced, "All rise," Savannah didn't flinch. She had been through too many doors slammed in her face to care about formalities. The judge, a seasoned woman with a reputation for zero tolerance, entered briskly, her eyes locked onto Savannah like a hawk sizing up a cornered animal. "Savannah Rose," she began, "you stand accused of multiple counts of theft, trespassing, and damage to public property. Do you understand these charges?" Savannah hesitated, then a small nod. The room waited for something explosive, a breakdown, a tear, but nothing came. Her court-appointed lawyer stood beside her, clearly overworked, shuffling papers like they were burning his fingers. The prosecutor leaned forward. "Your Honor, this isn't just a troubled child. This is a repeat offender with no respect for the law. We recommend juvenile detention." Gasps rippled through the gallery. Savannah's eyes flickered, not fear, but something deeper. Exhaustion, defiance, maybe both. Then the unexpected happened. From the back of the courtroom, a woman stood. "Your Honor, may I speak?" It was a social worker. The judge raised an eyebrow. "Proceed." The woman cleared her throat. "I've followed Savannah's file for months. She's been shuffled between shelters like luggage. She's not dangerous. She's desperate." The prosecutor scoffed. "We're not here to debate the foster care system." "Maybe we should be," the social worker snapped. Murmurs rose. Cameras clicked. Savannah stared straight ahead, unmoving, but her fists had unclenched. For a moment, the courtroom wasn't just a stage for punishment, it was a mirror, and everyone saw what they didn't want to admit. The system wasn't just prosecuting a child. It was prosecuting its own failure. The judge leaned back. "This court will take a recess. We reconvene in 20 minutes. As everyone stood, Savannah sat frozen. She had heard her name screamed, cursed, ignored, but never defended, never like this. In that moment, she didn't know if she was guilty. She just knew she was finally being seen. The judge adjusted her glasses and studied the case file with a weariness that came from years of seeing the same tragedy play out with different names. Savannah Rose sat motionless beside her attorney, a child whose name had become a headline, whose life had been reduced to mugshots and court dockets. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stared ahead, fingers quietly tracing the edge of a scar on her palm, as if trying to remember who gave it to her or why. The courtroom was still. Cameras clicked softly. Reporters leaned in like vultures circling a wounded thing. "Savannah," the judge began, her voice low but sharp, "you are charged with petty theft, trespassing, and destruction of public property. But this isn't about paperwork. This is about people, about you. Do you understand that?" Savannah didn't respond. Her mouth opened slightly, then closed. Her lawyer gently nudged her elbow. Still nothing. "According to the report," the judge continued, flipping a page, "Miss Rose has no parents, no stable housing, and no history of consistent education. She has been moved between foster homes 11 times in 3 years. 11. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. A young intern scribbled furiously on a yellow notepad. Savannah didn't flinch. The prosecutor stood. "Your Honor, while the defendant's circumstances are unfortunate, they do not absolve her from responsibility. This is not her first incident. She's been caught stealing before. This time she broke into a library and smashed a window." The judge narrowed her eyes. A library? Yes, Your Honor, after hours. She claimed she was cold and looking for a place to sleep. Was she armed? No. Did she hurt anyone? No, but then don't compare a scared child to a criminal. The prosecutor's lips tightened. With respect, we recommend immediate placement in juvenile detention. The judge leaned back. Mr. Keene, how many foster homes have you lived in? None, he replied. Then you don't know what this girl has survived. At that moment, Savannah finally looked up. Her eyes weren't angry. They were tired. She wasn't resisting judgment. She simply didn't believe in mercy. Your Honor, came a voice from the back. May I approach? An older woman stood, gray hair pulled back, a clipboard hugged to her chest. Helen Carter, Social Services. I've worked with Savannah for 11 months. She's not violent. She's not dangerous. She's a survivor. But she's running out of chances. The prosecutor rolled his eyes. We can't build the law on feelings. Helen stepped closer. But we enforce it with humanity. The judge tilted her head. Ms. Carter, do you have a solution? Let me take her. Under watch, under rules. I'll report weekly, but don't cage her. Don't teach her. Savannah sat in the front seat of Helen's rusted station wagon, fingers absent-mindedly tracing the cracks in the window glass as they rolled past neighborhoods that once felt like battlefields. She didn't recognize them in daylight. Everything looked smaller now, less threatening, but her body stayed tense. That alley? Her first night sleeping in the cold. That gas station, where she stole a granola bar and cried for an hour in the bathroom, too afraid to eat. Now she was being taken somewhere new, somewhere with a bed, with food, with expectations. The thought made her stomach twist. She wasn't sure what scared her more, the chaos she'd come from, or the peace she didn't yet trust. Helen drove quietly. The radio played soft jazz, the kind of music no one ever danced to. You hungry? Helen asked gently. Savannah shrugged. A little. They stopped at a roadside diner where the booths were cracked vinyl and the coffee smelled burnt. Inside, truckers and night shift nurses sipped black coffee, while the world outside kept rushing by. No one stared, no one whispered. For once, Savannah wasn't a story. She was just a kid ordering pancakes. She barely touched them, tearing the edges piece by piece as her eyes flicked to the door every 30 seconds. You don't have to run anymore, Helen said quietly. Savannah's voice was flat. People always say that, then they leave. Helen nodded. Then I'll be the one who stays. Back on the road, they pulled up to a small house with peeling blue paint and mismatched shutters. But there were flowers in the windowsill and wind chimes on the porch. It smelled like cinnamon and old books inside. Savannah stood frozen at the door. It's okay, Helen said. Take your time. The first few days were quiet, uneasy. Savannah barely spoke. She slept with her shoes on. She hid food under her bed. Twice she woke up screaming. Once she broke a plate and panicked, crying for an hour, convinced she'd be sent away. But Helen never shouted, never slammed a door. She just listened and stayed. One evening, Savannah came home to find a sketchbook on her bed. For your drawings, Helen said. How'd you know I'd draw? Savannah asked. Helen smiled. Because broken things still make beauty. You just needed space to show it. Slowly, walls came down. She started therapy, enrolled in school, made one friend, then another. She stopped jumping when people touched her shoulder. She started laughing, once by accident, then on purpose. And one morning she stood in front of the mirror and didn't look away. Her eyes still held shadows, but behind them was something new, something like hope.